present my thesis for final Viva. Financial literacy and individual economic behavior is the topic for the presentation. Um, the content of the slides are introduction, review of literature, objective of the study, scope of the study, research methodology, sampling, design, collection of data, hypothesis, tools of analysis and presentation, analysis of the study, suggestions and limitations, and future scope of the study. So I'm going to begin with the introduction. So JP Girl has given in his speech that is Executive Director, Security Exchange Board of India, that India is close to the 80% of literacy, but still the financial literacy is not there. Only 27% of the Indians are financially literate. It means we have a long distance to travel and to put the responsibility on the institution like exchange and SEBI to take the best steps for the financial literacy across the country. So OECD developed a recommendation to assist the government and other public authorities to design and implement, evaluate the policy that supports the financial resilience and financial literacy among the vulnerable groups. Post-financial crisis 2008 has compelled the economies to think about that there is a need for the money management, as it is observed that the United States was saving rate was below 0%. That is as per the source of Department of Commerce, Bureau of Economic Analysis 2008. So it is a very hard time that because savings are going rate is going below, and financial literacy over the period of time is recent years gaining the prominence, and with the growing complexities in the global financial market and development of the complex retail financial products. So macroeconomic indicators also affects that influence of individual economic behavior within a country at micro level. Individual economic behavior is directly or indirectly affected by incidents like financial crisis 2007, recession, pandemic 2019, other macro factors like GDP, growth rate, consumer price index, inflation, exchange rate, and RBI monetary policy and stock market. These all things are influencing that individual economic behavior. So behavioral finance here comes into the action and adopts a descriptive approach to understand how people make decisions related to the financial matters. So financial behavior has shifted the focus from a rational consumer to the irrational consumer, because it has been observed in the financial markets that people are behaving in very different manner, and because there are some kind of discrepancies found into the economic behavior of the individuals in decision making. So financial freedom is the everyone is paying. So everybody wants to be a financially freedom. Micro elements affecting the individual behavior, as we discussed. The financial literacy here is a very important and considered as the base for financial inclusion. That is a need of the art of economic development and sustainable development of any country. Under the present, this present study, it is a multidisciplinary study, and I have focused on observing the variations in the psychological variables of the financial well-being among the individual with the intervention of financial literacy. So basically, it's a experimental research. So I am going to discuss here the few terms that individual economic behavior, financial literacy, financial awareness, financial perception, financial attitude. Individual economic behavior. So this refers to the personal financial management activities related to the financial decisions such as cash flow planning, spending, saving, investment decisions, and other financial matters. How the individual is going to plan his whole financial aspects, that is covered in the financial behavior. So financial behavior can be defined as any human behavior that is relevant to the money management. Well, financial knowledge encourage the people to take positive financial behavior, and it's Sexio explained that financial behavior has a high influence on the financial decision making, which affect the personal finance as a whole. Financial literacy is knowledge and understanding of financial concepts, risk and skills, and motivation and confidence to apply such knowledge, understand in order to make effective decisions. across a range of financial contexts to improve the financial well-being of individuals in society and to enable the participation in economic life. It is basically known as knowing the facts and vocabulary necessary to manage one's personal finance successfully. So there are so many definitions. The basic they have given that financial literacy can be classified into the two subcategories. One is the basic financial literacy, and other is the financial advanced financial literacy. So basic financial literacy include the question related to the compounding of interest rates, inflation, and diversification. An advanced level of financial literacy questions related to the risk return relationships, concept of time value of money, and relationship between the interest rate and bond prices, etc. So I have discussed that till now is financial literacy and individual economic behavior. But if we find that there is some few factors that is of psychological behavior of the of the individual. So I have taken here financial perception. Perception is a belief because perception and attitude of the person depends on the awareness of that person. So financial perception can be is a belief and opinion held by many people and based on how the things seems to them. So it is a quality of being aware of the things through the physical sense or especially sights. It's somebody's ability to notice and understand the things they are obvious to other people. It is very important to understand the perception of individuals toward the financial planning and investment decision because financial environment and investment avenues depend upon the perception of the individuals. So it helps the perception helps the person in taking a decision related to the planning and investments. Financial attitude. Everyone has the goals in his life. Financial goals like related to the retirement, marriage, savings, and education of the kids, and so many other things. So it's a attitude is a behavior of a person adopts towards other people and things indicates what happening. So financial here there are so many studies are related to the invested attitude is to know how they invest, what are their investing habits, and how successful investment growth they can make, and observe the behavior under different circumstances is the ability of the person. So in literature review, uh, we can think financial it is obvious that financial well-being is usually an objective measure, but it perception but subjective variables are very important because how people feel and evaluate themselves related to money matter is very important. In this study we have taken the financial psychological behavior, and personal financial well-being is a multifaceted subjective concept that include the financial satisfaction, financial behavior, attitude, and perception of financial decision. Such components help in measuring the potential change in personal financial wellness. So there are some proxies that can be measured for determining the financial wellness and financial literacy. So there are so many authors. They have used the money income, consumption level, non-income, wealth accumulation, financial behavior, and financial satisfaction, financial attitude. So these are the proxies that help us to measure the financial wellness and financial literacy. So I have categorized the studies based on their psychological aspects and studies related to the variables that affect the individual financial behavior, studies related to the financial literacy and individual economic behavior. So first I will discuss that studies related to the importance of psychology.
Ma'am, it is better that it's you have mentioned here, and we are watching also. Can you come to the research gaps of your studies directly?
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So so research gaps in I have observed that there are very few studies related to the experimental studies related to the psychological variable of financial well-being, that is financial awareness, financial attitude, and financial perception and financial behavior with the intervention of financial literacy. So thinking this in, because there is a correlation between the financial literacy and of individual economic behavior, where there are very few less studies related to the experimental that before there are very less studies before and after that change in the behavior and decision behavior of the individual. So my study is the attempt to bridge the research gap by observing the variation in the individual economic behavior with financial literacy intervention among the working people of Tri-City Chandigarh. So there are so many studies that are telling about that, they are identifying that factors related to that affect the individual economic behavior and how financial literacy is going to help in people's decision making. But there are very few studies related to the judging the financial event, because what the study is saying that there is a behavioral change is very important to bring the change in the individual management of the financials. So, the statement of the problem in my studies: does the financial literacy help in improving the efficacy of the individual economic behavior among individuals? So, a study is here to understand that whether the financial literacy actually impacts that individual economic decision behavior. So significance is the problem that individual most of times tries for the financial well-being and seeks the financial freedom. So financial literacy considered as a tool to develop the money management skills, and money is a source of fulfillment of human needs and help in financial well-being. Study highlights the importance of financial literacy in improving the individual economic behavior. So this is the significance of the problem. Objective of the study to survey about the level of financial literacy among the working people in Tri-City Chandigarh, and to identify the psychological, social, and demographic factors that influence the individual economic behavior, to observe the perception attitude of the individuals toward the financial planning and investment decisions, and to analyze the variation in in economic decision behavior in light of financial literacy, and to examine the impact of financial literacy on individual economic behavior, and to discuss the economic decisions aspects like consumption, saving, investment of the individual behavior at micro level, and providing a suggestion for the policy making. So research methodology used in sample design is that convenient and referral sampling techniques can be used under the non-probability sampling techniques. And the target populations for the present study was working people in the Tri-City Chandigarh. The study has conducted in the Tri-City and with the representative sample of 308 working people in Tri-City in the age group of 21 to 60. Present study is experimental study, and primary data has been collected through two sets of the questionnaire from the same group of the respondents before and after the financial literacy intervention. And the responses of questionnaires are collected from the working people in the Tri-City pre and post the financial literacy intervention. So intervention is introduced, that framework how to create the lecture is based on the there are so many official sites and program financial literacy programs available, and that lecture was prepared on these things on the basic financial terminology and concepts. So basically RBI, SEBI and IDEA, they have one organization, that is the National Center for Financial Education. They are promoting the content. So on that content, based on that content, lecture was financial intervention was prepared. Collection of data. Questionnaire has been adopted and fine-tuned with the resources like OCED and NCFE, uh, that has been modified, adapted, and pilot study was surveyed. And the questionnaire has been divided into two sets. Uh, the first five sections are related to the individual psychological behavior, and fifth section is related to social economic demographic characteristics, that is age, gender, marital status, education qualification, employment status, income, and religion. So first section of the questionnaire covered that individual economic behavior, financial awareness, financial perception, and financial attitude. So research hypotheses are, there are 10 hypotheses, and first hypothesis: there is no relationship between the perception of individual and individual economic behavior. Second hypothesis is there is no relationship between attitude of the individual and individual economic behavior. And third is there is no relationship between influence of the psychological biases and individual economic behavior. So fourth hypothesis, there is no relationship between the social influence and individual economic behavior. Fifth hypothesis, there is no relationship between demographic factors of the individual and individual economic behavior. Sixth is there is no relationship between the religious beliefs of the individual and individual economic behavior. Seventh is there is no relationship between the financial literacy and individual economic behavior. Eighth is there is no significant impact of financial literacy on perception of individuals. Ninth is there is no significant impact of the financial literacy on attitude of the individuals. And tenth is there is no impact of financial literacy on individual economic decision behavior. So model of the study is that four components, that is individual economic behavior, awareness, financial perception, and financial attitude among working people before and after the intervention of financial literacy. So a component of financial literacy has the four parameters. Testing of validity of questionnaire using Pearson correlation coefficient in SPSS. So reliability of the question, validity of the question has been taken, and we can see that the sample size 308, the degree of freedom is 306, 306, and the obtained value is 0.112 from the table critical value, and critical value that is calculated using Pearson correlation. So we can see that the individual economic behavior pre and post, uh, that is IEBPRE stands for individual economic behavior before the intervention, pre-intervention, and post-intervention with the 22 statements. And then next column is this is financial perception pre and post, that these statements having 14 statements are there. Financial attitude for financial attitude pre and post, that is it is containing 10 statements. Financial awareness pre and post, and it is containing 8 statements. So we can see that all the statements in the taken here, excuse me, is more than the value of the critical value is 112. So it means the all the statements having the validity, and they are very much reliable, accurate for the judging the variables. So convac alpha is reliability of the data, reliability scale of the data. So for pre individual economic behavior, pre and post, we can see that 0.738 is a convac alpha, and 8.6 is individual awareness pre and post is more than zero point 0.7. Perception pre and post, attitude pre and post. So statistical tools are used for this evaluating this analysis are correlation, chi-square test, pair t-test, ANOVA, and regression. So correlation is testing that relationship, significant relationship among the financial, psychological, financial of individuals pre and post. Uh, then chi-square test is used to study the association between the demographic, social, economic variables and individual financial, psychological variables. Pair t-test has been used to understand the impact, because since it's a same sample has been used pre and post, so pair t-test has been used to understand the impact of the financial literacy intervention. Um, then ANOVA is used where that there are two and more groups in respect to the financial psychological factors. Regression has been used to understand the impact of financial literacy on individual economic behavior. Results in interpretations, descriptive statistics. So to understand the samples, first I'm going to discuss what type of the sample it is. So gender wise, you can see that the distribution on gender basis, 42% were the male and 58% were the respondent was the female, and age group is uh, is 21 to 60, where it is divided into 10 basis. 20 21 to 30 is 36%, the respondent in age group of 31 to 40 is 42%. In age group of 40 to 50, 41 to 50 is 14%, 51 to 60, 8%. So academic qualification based on the academic qualification respondents has been divided into the graduates 45%, postgraduate is 38%, and professional is 17%. So on the basis of employment, distribution of respondents is government employees are 54%, private servants are 38%, self-employed is 8%. On the basis of employment status, employment status, three people are married. That is on marital basis. Married people are 64%, unmarried 36%, and employment level basis is operational is 34, middle is 60%, and seniority base is 6%. So monthly wise, you can see that below 20,000, 36%, 21 to 40, 34, 41 to 60, 25%, 61 and above is 5%. Regional religion distribution, 57% of the respondents are Hindus, Muslims are 7%, Sikhs 90%, and other are 16%. So first objective of the study is to survey the financial literacy level among the working people in Tri-City, Chandigarh. So financial this table is showing the measure variables and qualifying score of the financial literacy level. Economic behavior is at scale on every statement is on a 5-point Likert scale, and the score qualifying score is 3, above 3, and economic individual economic behavior, financial awareness, financial perception, financial attitudes for goal, all the 4 state variables measured on the 5-point Likert scale. So financial literacy level under pre and post financial literacy intervention, it is based on gender. 8 demographic features are there: gender, age wise, education wise, employment wise, marital status, income, religion, and employment level. So I'm going to discuss here that before and after the results are like this. So we can see that the high score for the financial literacy is 3 and above, 3 above, and in male it is before the intervention it is 8%. After the intervention of the financial literacy, the score has been improved to 39%, and female 14% was the highest score before the intervention, and it has been gradually increased to 51%. And we can see the change here that before the intervention and after the intervention, the graphs are saying that red bar is for the gender for female, and the blue is for male. And high score, there was very low score before the intervention, and we can see that that score has been 3 to 5. That is has been increased to after the intervention. On the basis of age-wise distribution, we can see that in the age group before the intervention, the high score of the financial literacy level is 21 to 30 years was 5%, 31 to 40 11%, 41 to 54%, and 51 to 62%. That score has been increased from 22% to 90% after the intervention, and we can see that high level of level for the that person containing the high knowledge in the age group of 21 to 30 is 33% from 5%. So it has been gradually increased in 31 to 40 years of age, that is from 11 to 36%. The score has been improved. So we can see that graphical presentation is showing that before the intervention, there is a low literacy rate, that is showing less score, less than 3 is blue bar, and that is increased in after the post intervention. So on the basis of education wise, you can see that though all people were literate, but the financial literacy among the graduates, postgraduates, and professionals is very less before intervention. That is 8%, 9%, 5%, and that score has been gradually increased from 8 to 40% in graduates, 9 to 35% in postgraduate, and 5 to 15% in professionals. So this is the graphical presentation that scores has been improved after the intervention. On the basis of employment wise, though people are employed and they are earning good money, but the score for the financial literacy has been gradually increased for the government employee 11 to 48%, private 7 from 9 to 34.4%, and self-employed 2 to 8%. We can see that score here also. That is a high score before the intervention is very less, and it has been gradually increased in all the sectors. So we can see that it is in financial literacy intervention has a positive impact. And next is on the marital status basis. So married people are scoring, high score is 13%, and 3 to 5 is uh, more than 3, less than 5 is for the married 13. And after the intervention, it has increased from 13 to 56%, and unmarried 9 to 34%. So it has been gradually increased. We can see the score in the graphical presentation is also showing that after the intervention, that score has been gradually increased. Income wise, we can see that people are earning above 20,000 is 7%, 40 to 60% 7 and 1. They are showing that there is very less score. They are scoring very less. They have less knowledge for the financial terms and vocabularies and understanding about the financial concepts. And after then imparting that financial education, people has improved their score from 7 to 32% in case of below 20,000, and 20 to 40 from 7 to 32%. It has increased 40 to 60,000, 7 to 21%, and 60 to 80, 1 to 5%. So we can see that there is improvement in the scores. And this is a graphical presentation that is showing that scores below 3 is blue, and red is showing that higher level of financial literacy. You can see that before the intervention, the red bars are very height is very less, and it is increased in the after the intervention. So on the basis of religion, we can also see that score has been improved from 12 to 56, 52% Hindus and Muslim, 2 to 7%, Sikh 5 to 18%, and 3 to 14% in others. So this is the graphical presentation that is showing that higher score in the red bar. Before the intervention, it is very less, and it has been gradually increased in after the intervention. On the basis of employment level, operational, middle, and senior level, people are showing very less higher score for the financial literacy. Before the intervention, that is 6%, 14%, and 2%, and it has gradually increased from 6 to 32% in case of people working on operational level, 14 to 53%. The people were working on middle level, and 2 to 5% on the senior level. So this is the graphical representation that is showing that the scores for the higher level of literacy after the intervention, it has been increased. That is shown by the red bar. Second objective of the study is to identify the psychological biases, demographic, and social economic factors that influence the economic behavior. That is determinants of individual economic behavior. That is, economic variables are identified, social and psychological variable, and they are the determinants and they are the consequences. It is the financial well-beingness uh, is the consequences of individual economic behavior. Economic variables were the income, savings, investment, wealth, interest rate, inflation, stock market participation, availability of financial products, credit card use, financial risk, and others. And demographic variables and social variables are age, gender, marital status, culture, education level, religion, financial advice, financial life uh, cycle, family life cycle, sorry, social references, comparison, social norms, and values. So these are the studies which are showing that these are the sub-variables of demographic and social variables. And psychological variables are attitude, awareness, perception, financial behavior, financial knowledge, computational skills, cognitive skills, self-control, risk-taking behavior, overreaction and underreaction, dispositioning effect, cognitive dissonance, and coaching, and lack of computational skills. Because psychology, behavioral finance is showing that there is some lack of understanding about the financial concepts. That's why the people are not behaving in the appropriate manner, and that is showing into the financial markets. Because the Robert Schiller has shown that when there is a news in the stock market, people most of the time loses money just because they don't have the financial knowledge about the things happening. So they are more risk taker in case of when there is a uh, adverse news. In the time of risk, they are taking wrong decisions. To observe the perception and attitude of the individuals toward the financial planning and individual decisions. This is the third objective of the study. So here I have discussed that financial perception. We have taken the 8 statements here, and the 8 statement is telling about it, what is the perception of the individuals toward that particular financial decision. If that car loan is a liability and contribution in retirement is a risk-free investment, buying any insurance plan is an investment, buying a household item like furniture, electricity, appliances, they are the sort of asset creation. What is the understanding of the people? I just want to understand through this statements. So whether their rental incomes on the property can adjust it to the inflation effectively. And I believe that it is a vote to take loan to make investments. Buying a house on loan is an asset or not. So this is the scores from true, if whether these statements are true or false. On the basis of that, the scores has been taken. So you can see that when the people before the intervention, people were thinking that rental income can be adjusted to the price levels is only 40%, that has been improved to 74% after the intervention. People were thinking that car loan is a liability. They are, that is it's not true. Not never true is by 53%. Means people had less awareness. It's a liability. Car loan is a liability. Housing loan is a liability. House that is on the loan is they considered as an asset that has been improved after the intervention. So we can see that score for the each statement has been changed after that intervention. So in this table is related to the prevalence factor of financial attitude among the working people in Chandigarh before and after. Their high score is more than three, up to 5. And in financial attitude is related to the financial planning related to the retirement, saving for rainy days, passive income in form of creating the passive income in form of interest, and increasing the market value of asset. Whether they are willing to have leave their money in for the parent for their kids, this whether they spend wisely and increase the living standards. What are the goals related to the financial independence, borrowing to meet the children needs, educational expenses in future, save for the marriage purpose of the children, invest in the purpose of saving. These are the things which I have taken in the statements. And the scores, we can see that the score has been improved gradually after the intervention of the financial literacy, because people are perceiving it in a wrong way, and they're before the intervention they don't know the consequences of their decisions. So after the intervention, the financial attitude has been improved. To analyze the variation in economic decision behavior in light of intervention, for individual economic behavior, there were 22 statements have been taken, and we can see that score for each statement after the intervention has been improved 68 to 91% for the budgeting. So first few statements are related to the budgeting, and another few statements are related to the spending habits and the future plans, decisions related to the uh, their retirement planning, and how their investments adjusted for the future price rise, inflation, whether they are taking the investment decision wisely or not. I often borrow for investment purpose. The score was 15%. That is, if they get the invest borrowing at a less price and investing at a high price, they can have the margin of return. They were not aware of this, and people the people believe that it is good to carry some sort of financial debt during the life, where the score is 24%, and that has been increased to 43%. Few people, few statements related that I can estimate the risk, that risk taking capacity of the human beings. Score is very less, 29 to, it has been increased after that, because that intervention is telling about how to analyze the risk, how to take, because people were very risk averse, they don't want to invest because of less understanding about the analyzing and portfolio designing of the risk. So pre and post intervention, we can see that that the scores were very high score. Financial literacy level is very less. That is showing by the pink bar, and it has been gradually increased for every statement after the intervention. So to examine the impact of financial literacy in individual economic behavior, we have calculated the means, and the mean that hypothesis, the pre-financial literacy intervention and post-financial intervention resilience means individual economics behaviors are equal, means there is no difference in the scores of that mean score of the individuals. So we can see that result null hypothesis stand not accepted at the significance level. It means there is a difference in the mean score of the individual, high mean score for the individuals. It means there is an improvement in the individual economic behavior and financial literacy level. Hypothesis testing. First hypothesis is related to the relationship between the perception and individual economic behavior. So I have discussed the what statements are taken into the psychological factor of the individual. Now I'm discussing the relationship between these psychological factors. So we can see that there is no relationship found in the statement before the intervention, but after the intervention there is a relationship between the perception of the individual and individual economic behavior. So there is no relationship between the attitude of the individual and individual economic behavior. So the null hypothesis stand not accepted at the significance level. It means there is a relationship between the attitude of individual and individual economic behavior pre and post in both cases. Third hypothesis is related to the relationship between there is no relationship between the influence of psychological biases and individual economic behavior. So this hypothesis not accepted on the significance level. It means there is a relationship between the influence of psychological biases and individual economic behavior in both cases, pre and post. But we can see that score of the correlation has been increased after the intervention. So to test that, no, there is no association between the social influence. So variables are taken for the social influences: income, employment status, employment level, and education. In all cases, we can see that this hypothesis stands not accepted, and at the significance level, it means there is a strong association between the social influence and individual economic behavior, pre and post. Both cases, we can see that social influence the individual economic behavior. So this is the explanation. Next is the hypothesis related. There is a no association between the demographic factors of the individual and individual economic behavior. So in individual demographic factors of the individual are gender, age, and marital status. So we can see that null hypothesis stand rejected on the significance level, and we can see that there is a strong relationship between there is a association between the demographic factors and the individual economic behavior. Chi-square test has been taken on this to understand the association between the demographic factors of individual and individual economic behavior. Sixth hypothesis related to the religious belief of the individual and individual economic behavior. So there is a no association is found in this using chi-square test. It means religious belief and individual economic behavior is not associated, and there is no effect of in religious beliefs. And there is no relationship. Seventh hypothesis: there is a no relationship between financial literacy and individual economic behavior. We can see that the null hypothesis stands not accepted, and it is strongly using correlation. We can see that there is a relationship between the financial literacy and individual economic behavior. We can see that the correlation scores has been improved after the intervention also. So we can see that there is a strong relationship between the financial literacy and individual economic behavior. There is no significant impact of impact of financial literacy on the perception of individuals. To test this hypothesis, we have used the technique of t-test, and it is the null hypothesis stand accepted here because a behavior study is saying that changing the perception and attitude is a long-term process, and we can see that there is no significant impact on the perception of the individual in one go. It means they need to impart the financial literacy on the continuous basis to improve the perception of the individuals. There is no impact of the financial literacy on the attitude of the individuals, though the perception is not influenced by the individual by the financial literacy, but there is a significant impact of financial literacy on the attitude of the individual's financial goals. So a null hypothesis stand not accepted. It means there is a significant impact of financial literacy on attitude of the individual for financial goals. Excuse me. So two-tier t-test sample has been used to reveal that there is a significant impact of financial literacy on individual on financial attitude for the goals of individuals. Hypothesis 10 is discussing about the impact of financial literacy on the individual economic behavior. So t-test has been used for sample t-test has been used for explaining this, and the null hypothesis stands not accepted, and there is an improvement in the individual economic behavior, and the scores has been improved as shown in the diagram also. And objective sixth is to discuss the economic decision aspects related to consumption, savings, and investment of individuals at micro level and policy suggestions. T-test and ANOVA has been used to study the significance difference between the mean score of two or more groups respectively for the individual economic behavior on the basis of demographic, social, economic characteristics of working people in the Tri-City Chandigarh. So the groups there are two groups. So for testing t-test for genders, there is no significant difference between the male and female respect to the economic behavior pre and post financial literacy intervention. The score is showing that the hypothesis stand accepted. It means a female and male economic behavior, there's no difference in the female and male respondents with respect to individual economic behavior in both cases pre and post. To test the significance difference between the married and unmarried people with respect to economic behavior in both cases pre and post, the null hypothesis stands not as accepted in pre case, and after the intervention it is accepted that there is no significant difference between married
come to the conclusion, please. Come to the conclusions, please.
Okay. So conclusion is that before the before the intervention, so impact. So this is the dependent variable is individual economic behavior, and variables is financial awareness, financial perception, and attitude. So we can see that it is residual acceptance assumptions are that linearity, homoscedasticity, and independence, normality. So we can see that the residuals are independent, so it is satisfying the first assumption. Second assumption, that multicollinearity is not there because AVIF scores is less than 10 and tolerance is greater than 0.2. So it is residuals are normally distributed. So we can put the regression here, and multi-regression is showing that that this is the equation, that is 2.46 represent the partial effect of the individual awareness, 0.14 is showing the perception, and 0.15 is showing that attitude. So conclusion is that we can see that before the intervention, the high financial scores for every individual for the every variable is very less, which has been improved significantly after the intervention, and it is showing that financial literacy impact the individual economic behavior, perception, attitude, and awareness. So suggestion for policy suggestions are that OECD has identified that financial literacy will suffer from various limitations because until unless we don't initiate the things on psychological basis, things are not going to improve. So in order to have the desired outcome, we need to focus on that behavioral aspect, and there is a need to develop intervention based on the behavioral insight. So curiosity about knowing and receiving the information is very much required because in the data collection, I found that the respondents were not curious about knowing and getting the financial information, though National and NCFE, that initiative by the RBI, is telling everything on online, but that is sites are available. People are not curious about learning the financial terms and financial information. So what I have done in the this experimental research to make people engaged, I have designed animated videos and quizzes and creating the learning environment to make it more interesting. So I think the first to change the behavior, we need to address the psychological aspect of the individuals, and we need to come up with the innovative mode of telling, innovative mode of financial literacy interventions initiatives. So financial confidence among the individuals is very important. Dr. Azad highlights that financial literacy has two components: actual knowledge and perceived knowledge. And based on the National Service of USA, the study identified that financial confidence as a key component of financial literacy, and overconfident people have low actual factual knowledge and they tend to take risk on financial decisions. So there is a difference between the factual knowledge and the actual perceived knowledge. And the financial literacy interventions and initiatives should be focused on providing the factual financial knowledge and also creating accurate financial confidence so that they can take the individual so that they can take the right decisions. Financial education in light of behavior insight. NCFE is planning to introduce the financial education in India in existing system in future initiatives under National Strategy for Financial Education based on 3 C's. And as per the OECD recommendation, there is a need of designing the effective financial literacy and education in light of behavioral insights. Uh, Following the suggestion technique can be considered as I'm going to discuss few techniques that is related to the desired behavioral outcome in designing the financial literacy programs. It should be very simple, keep it simple, should be the rule of thumb. Generally, learners incorporate read all 3 sample rule of thumbs that is based on principle of teaching fundamentals in decision behavior instead of traditional financial knowledge. So the chances of procrastination and misunderstandings are less under this system. And the rule of thumb helps in tackling and reducing the chance of heuristic and other behavioral biases. The rule are as follows. Loans must not rise faster than the income, otherwise debt will crush the debt raiser eventually. Income must not rise faster than productivity, otherwise person will be incompetent eventually. Everyone must keep on working to increase productivity as it is the most important than matter in long term. Mass media is another solution. Social media. World Bank has highlighted the economic impact of financial literacy using mass media, television soap opera on the debt management in South Africa. So the show was very successful, and viewers were less likely to engage in gamble and higher purchase agreement due to the awareness. Most of the population participate actively on social media. Social media can be the best source of imparting financial education. So resources like in financial social media, the resources like designed quizzes, financial games for kids, interactive live sessions and webinars, and animated video can be chosen for effective delivery of the messages at the masses. Teachable movement is very important term. The term defined as a movement where student is curious to learn about the topic. And Robert popularized the term of teachable movement in 1952, and the emphasis emphasized on the right time for effective learning by repeating the important time for the student's teachable movement so that student can be benefited. So, in financial decisions, such kind of teachable moments are starting education, getting married, having children, making home and household, retiring in social security at the time of first paychecks and earnings. Because people, when they have first paycheck, they used to spend. They don't plan for the investment. So these kind of the moments where we can teach the people financial about the terms and how they can be financially secure themselves by investing and saving and spending in wisely. So visual tool tools counseling, it's very important because in US experiment report, the level of self efficacy and financial knowledge is considered as a higher in the user who were learned through the videos, interactive programs, than the text-based and passive education programs. In CFE is by IBI, that is promoting the national strategy. They are still using the passive education programs. So it's a suggestion to create, there should be a behavioral insight that should be emphasized on using the visual tools in initiating the financial literacy. Financial coaching. Financial coaching. Customized coaching is experiments are evident, more impactful on behavioral change than on financial knowledge. So keeping participant motivated is also very important, and consistent attendance in the coaching though is a remains a challenge. Trans-theoretical model of change, because behavior doesn't change in just by telling by creating the awareness. So it is a long process. So this model elaborates how people modify a problem behavior or acquire a positive behavior. So assumption of the model is that behavioral change is not a discrete event, rather it is a long process. So we need to classify the stages like pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and terminations. So application of this model can be provide a base for development of effective financial literacy programs, initiatives, because people are at the pre-contemplation state. They are not aware that they are in the problem. As I, when I approached the people and discussed the things, and they were not aware of their financials. So this is a stage of pre-contemplation. People are not ready, even they are not aware of that they are in, they are not taking the right decisions, and they are not worried about it also. So digitalization of financial education at mass level can help in achieving the financial literacy at a rapid stage. So app-based solutions can be the mode of the, can be used as a mode for the distribution for imparting the education, financial education. It is very important to infuse the financial culture to achieve the financial inclusion. So family socialization theory is through which we can suggest that uh, to teach the child how to take the financial decision. This is very important to incorporate the elements of involving families as a participants first in the financial. For, means we need to involve families first and telling them how to take decisions in different situations and what are the options that are available, how to analyze the risk. So if they have the information, then family, when the family socialization is there, then it is naturally imparted to the kids also. So implication of the studies, though the National Council of Financial Education under the umbrella of RBI, SEBI and IRDA aims to impart financial literacy with the objective of financial inclusion, yet many efforts are required to done on implementation state, as I have discussed the behavioral insight that should be taken care to impart the financial literacy at a faster speed. So digitalization, app-based solutions help in achieving the objective of financial literacy. So study provide a comprehensive idea about the individual economic behavior and other psychological variables of financial well-being in light of financial literacy intervention with positive outcome. The study also conducted an idea about the financial literacy can be helpful in efficient economic behavior. So limitation of the study is that it is restricted only to the Tri-City Chandigarh, and it could be imparted in the whole nation also. So individuals will be able to understand the impact of micro and macro individual indicators through the financial literacy. Respondents under the studies were only working people, so we can take all other people also into the study. A study focuses only on the subjective variable of individuals, whereas objective variables can be means calculation of the interest rate, how to analyze this. These can be the objective variables which we can introduce, but only subjective aspect has been taken because it's related to the perception knowledge level of the individual related to the basic terms which they are using into daily life. The scope of study is extended to the other states in India. The study can be covered financial management skills required in the business, so it can be approached to the entrepreneurs also, MSMEs and other business people. Study can further take up the issue related to the digitalization, like app-based solution for the financial literacy, financial education for achieving the objective. Study can extend to the cover aspects like macroeconomic indicators like GDP, inflation. These can be the further variables in the study. Study embrace the cultural aspects in the individual economic behavior because culture creates a nation. So if we want our nation to be very well off in financial aspects, and we understand that because of the financial attitude of the people, that government banking sector is more prominent in India, whereas in US it is a stock market based financial sector is there, financial system is there. So in order to flourish more into the taking financial decision, one has to be very well equipped with the financial terms and risk orientation decisions, uh, risk balanced, how they can take the balanced risk and earn more. So this is very important. So it is only happening when there is a cultural aspects involved into the individual economic behavior. So study can be conducted to develop the financial culture among the natives to develop financial system for financial independence. Thank you so much. This is from
Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Yes, please. Uh, uh, I hope that your presentation is over now.
Sorry, sir.
Your
Yes, sir.
presentation.
Yes. Yes, my presentation is over, sir.
Let me congratulate you first that the topic you have taken, financial literacy and individual economic behavior. This is one of the best topic and different topic which you have taken for the investors and for your study purpose.
Yes,
Under
sir.
the and supervision of Dr. Jasdeep Dhame,
Yes,
you
sir.
have completed a wonderful study. Definitely, you
Thank
have defended your study also very well.
thank you, sir.
You mentioned in your study that only 27% of the Indian they are financially literate, and there is a need of money management as the saving rates are coming down. Definitely, the
Yes,
people they
yes,
are
sir.
also looking for the better return on their investments. You also mentioned in your study very well that how financial literacy, financial awareness, financial satisfaction, financial wellness, that plays an important role. And again, the research gap you have mentioned, they were also very good that there is a variation in the individual economic behavior with the financial literacy. You have taken your study in the Tri-City Chandigarh. Uh, My definitely few questions they remain in my mind also. Let me just first say to you that your presentation was also very good, and your topic was very good. You defended your topic very well. But when we are to just ask certain questions, they are not for the sake of questions, but they are also for removing the certain anxieties in our mind that when you have completed all these topics, all these analysis, few results might have definitely surprised you. Can you elaborate that which results surprised you the most in your study?
Sir, I thought that perception can be changed. That is the major surprising for me, that it is not changed after that intervention. Attitude has been changed, but perception is not changed. That is very surprising for me, because every other aspect is changing after the financial literacy intervention. Then I went to again to the literature review, and I observed that in psychology it is mentioned that behavior is a long term process. So once it is in part, it cannot be created into the behavior. To create a habit, you need to be repetitively tell that person to change that thing. And I have discussed the TTM theory, TTM model, which is discussing that to change, to create a change, there are some stages that should be followed to create a learner. Because I have seen that people have the awareness, but they are not behaving in that manner.
my
So
my my, my
behavior
my
change.
point of my point of worry was also
Yes,
something
yes,
different. Let's say when you were just studying your demographic variable behavior based on the demographic behavior, I saw that the education level of the people, it was more, but
yes,
their awareness towards financial literacy, it was less, though it should have been different, that the people who are highly educated, they must be more literate about the financial literacy. The similar case was there, that the employment was, they say, the person who were working at the senior level, they were less
right.
literate, and the people who were working at the lower level, they were more literate. The, as far as married status was concerned, okay, मान ली बात कि males were more literate, females were less literate, and in the same similar fashion in your study, I also saw that the income level of the people was more, but they were less aware about the financial
Less aware
literacy.
about. Yes, true, sir.
And this surprising for me was also there, that the minority people, they were less literate about the financial literacy as compared to the people of majority one. Let's say the Muslims, they were very less literate about financial literacy, and followed by Sikhs and others. Can you tell me that, say, what may be the cause of their being less literate about the financial literacy itself? Because education may be the main source to literate people more, and similarly the employment in the income, if income is more, people always search for the alternative investments. But here the theory was different. There's people having high income who are always searching for the alternate investments. They were not aware about the financial literacy itself. Can you tell me the reason in few lines?
Sir, actually, the curriculum of the studies is not covering that financial aspect in the more way, because real-time situations are not dealt in the school level, at even
But
at
the similar,
education level.
but tell me that, say, the people who were graduate, postgraduate, or
Sir,
professional, even the
yes,
professional, they were less aware. But
sir, because there is a lack of the available, because any FC is now doing that, RBI is doing that, that the curriculum should be designed for the financial literacy at the school level now, so that people should aware of how to spend, how to take decision related to the savings and investment, because people are not even aware that saving and investments are different.
hmm,
I asked the people, this is my first question, that
hmm,
whether you are aware that the savings are different from the investment. They said there is no difference before the
hmm,
intervention. When I told them that is the inflation is there, and if you getting the return that is 6% from that savings account from the FDs, and the
Okay.
inflation rate is 7%, and you were having the -1%. Then they were very shocked about it, and they are very very literate, and they said that it is a very secure investment we say thought of. So, sir, there is a, I think we need to address more things to the people.
Can tell me that what is the impact of volatility on individual economic decisions?
Sir,
Volatility जो है,
definitely, sir, because volatility, because the investors, those who are the retail investors, they are not aware of the how the market is flowing. So, what is the decision which is impacting other things? So they just follow the crowd. If it is selling, that they try to sell. They don't never analyze the financial aspect of that particular company, whether the company is getting return or not. They're just following that. They just sell it at low price just to save the money, because they just want to secure that कि उनकी प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट भी वापस आ जाए. सो वॉलेटिलिटी इज दैट कि जब जब होलसेल इन्वेस्टर जाता है तो वो अपना एक टाइम पे रिटेन करके रिटेल कस्टमर को सेल करता है. तो रिटेल कस्टमर इज नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट काइंड ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट कि इसको एनालाइज कैसे करना है. जब मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ तो वो एक फ्लो में ही परचेज कर जाता है, क्योंकि वो रेफरेंस बाइंग करता है, उसकी खुद की अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं होती. जब रेफरेंस बाइंग होती है तो सर मिसलीडिंग इंफॉर्मेशन भी पास ऑन होती है. सो वॉलेटिलिटी
रजनी,
का
मैंने
रीजन.
एक चीज और देखी इसमें आपने अपनी सुजेशन में एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट सुजेशन को पिन पॉइंट किया कि कल्चरल बिलीफ जो है
जी जी
उनको फोकस किया जाना चाहिए अगर लिटरेसी रेट को, अगर आप इस फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी को अगर आपने बढ़ाना है. My point of worry is there that you might have studied the relationship in between religious belief and the economic decision making.
जी
ये जो
जी
religious belief है, तो ये क्या cultural belief को या cultural जो आपके understandings है उनको भी तो represent करते हैं. Is there any relationship between religious belief and the economic decision making?
सर रिलीजियस, सर यहाँ पे अभी थोड़ा सा जब इनकम लेवल इंक्रीज होता है तो डेफिनेटली इंडिया में, तभी तो मैंने सर ये डिस्कस लिटरेचर रिव्यू में भी अपने लिखा है कि जो जब हम फाइनेंशियल बिहेवियर की बात करते हैं तो हम खाली बिहेवियर को जज ना करें. बिहेवियर से एक कल्चर डेवलप होता है और कल्चर से इकोनॉमी डेवलप होता है. तो जब अमेरिका में हम कल्चर देखते हैं, दैट इज द एंग्लो एक्सन बिहेवियर, दैट इज दे आर रिस्क टेकर्स एंड दे थिंक ऑफ फ्यूचर एंड दे स्पेंड अ लॉट. और एंड इंडिया में है कंजर्वेटिव अप्रोच. So people are they are securing more. When we secure more, there is a secure और social security बहुत important है सर. यहाँ पे कल्चर में अगर सोशल सिक्योरिटी रहती है तो people start spending. That is in the US. They because they have the social security, they don't save much. They experiment a lot and they create more investment. बट इंडिया में सर उसका रिवर्स है, बिकॉज कल्चर इज नॉट देयर. कल्चर इज ऑफ अनसर्टेनिटी की अनसर्टेनिटी अवॉइडेंस का है यहाँ पे सर कल्चर. सो अनसर्टेनिटी को अवॉइड करने के लिए सिक्योर करो और होर्डिंग करो. सो दैट्स व्हाई दैट इकोनॉमी इज नॉट फ्लरिशिंग एट दैट लेवल. दैट्स व्हाई द एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल इज लेस एंड दैट्स व्हाई बिकॉज बिजनेस में अभी लोग कम इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. दे फाइंड अ सिक्योर जॉब.
आपकी जो perceptions है, my point of I would like to just finish early also because the time has already
जी
passed a lot also, that the perceptions, beliefs and awareness, attitude, they are also influence, as per your study, they are also influencing your economic decision making.
जी
Can you tell me that how all these psychological factors, if they are influencing, that how we can improve the financial literacy by keeping in mind the psychological aspect of the human being into the mind? हमारा जो psychological factors है आपकी स्टडी में डेफिनेटली उसमें आया है कि उन्होंने हमारे इकोनॉमिक जो इंडिविजुअल इकोनॉमिक डिसीजंस है, बिहेवियर है, उसको इन्फ्लुएंस किया है. तो हमें उसके ऊपर फोकस करना ही पड़ेगा डेफिनेटली, वेदर इट इज एटीट्यूड, वेदर इट इज योर परसेप्शन, वेदर इट इज अवेयरनेस ऑफ एनी अदर काइंड. In few lines, can you tell me that what say the what measure we can take which can influence the psychological aspects of an investor टू गो फॉर द फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी। आप कोई थोड़ा इसमें कुछ बताएंगे कि इनमें कैसे, क्योंकि साइकोलॉजिकल जो फैक्टर्स है वो तो हर इंडिविजुअल के अलग अलग होते हैं, हाउ वी
जी
कैन
सर।
जस्ट मेक एफर्ट्स टू इंक्रीज द फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी by improving their psychological factors also.
So though it's a long process, but we have observed that like literacy rate has improved a lot of a culture and बहुत सारे perceptions change हुए हैं. So financial literacy at the school level and at the college level, if it is imparted in the game way, means innovative तरीके से अगर आप उनको introduce किया जाए and family awareness create किया जाए, तो culture definitely change आएगा सर. तो
Okay,
फाइनेंशियल कल्चर चेंज हो सकता है बिकॉज
okay.
अभी हमारी फाइनेंशियल एजुकेशन है ही नहीं करिकुलम में इतनी ज्यादा, सिर्फ कंपाउंडिंग फैक्टर का सर किसी को इम्पैक्ट पता ही नहीं है. तो रॉबर्ट क्योस्की की बुक है, इवन कि मैं काफी स्टूडेंट्स को बोलती हूँ, रिच डैड पुअर डैड स्टडी कीजिए. सो इट इज टेलिंग द फाइनेंशियल एटीट्यूड ऑफ द बिजनेस पर्सन. तो
अभी अभी
फाइनेंशियल
लेटेस्ट, अभी एक लेटेस्ट आपने देखा होगा, the mood of the people is shifting from the general investment to the cryptocurrency की ओर बढ़ रहा है,
जी
और
जी जी
क्रिप्टोकरेंसी की जानकारी लोगों को है नहीं। वहां
है
पे
नहीं
कई लोगों को बहुत नुकसान हुआ है, और उस
जी
नुकसान की उनकी भरपाई भी नहीं हो पा रही है, और
जी
उसमें
जी
बहुत से फ्रॉड भी हुए हैं साथ में, आपने देखा होगा
जी
काफी
जी
उसमें फ्रॉड भी देखने को मिले हैं। क्या, हाउ कम वी कैन जस्ट ओवरकम ऑल दीज
सर यही
क्रिप्टोकरेंसी?
अवेयरनेस. जी सर, यही अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करना है कि रेफरेंस सेलिंग जो रहता है सर, वो उसी में प्रॉब्लम आता है. व्हेन वी डोंट जज बाय आवर ओन सेल्फ एफिकेसी, इसमें बात आती है. सेल्फ एफिकेसी सर हमेशा लिटरेसी से ही क्रिएट की जा सकती है और बिहेवियर एस्पेक्ट को चेंज करके की जा सकती है. और बिहेवियर एस्पेक्ट चेंज करने के लिए वी नीड टू कीप ऑन रीडिंग द थिंग्स एंड वी नीड टू क्यूरियस अबाउट द लर्निंग टेक्निक्स. तो क्यूरियोसिटी इंक्रीज तभी हो सकती है जब हम सोशल मीडिया पे हम कुछ ऐसी इनोवेटिव थिंग्स गवर्नमेंट की साइड, रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज की साइड से जाता रहे, कि मैसेजेस जाते रहें, क्योंकि अवेयरनेस से ही सब चीजें चेंज होती हैं.
गवर्नमेंट ने भी क्रिप्टोकरेंसी को तो गवर्नमेंट ने भी बैन नहीं किया है ना।
जी
क्रिप्टोकरेंसी
सर.
अगर तो गवर्नमेंट ने उसको बैन कर दिया होता, तब तो गवर्नमेंट उसमें लिख के दे देती कि जी
सर
इसको
अभी तो न्यूज आ
आप।
रही है कि आरबीआई सेइंग कि हाँ जी, बिकॉज इट्स टाइप ऑफ स्टॉक मार्केट सर. जैसे स्टॉक मार्केट में लोगों को अवेयरनेस नहीं है, दे आर जस्ट बाइंग इट. सप्लाई इज माइनिंग जो हो रही है, डेटा माइनिंग, उसके बेसिस पे क्रिप्टो करेंसी जा रही है, उसका पता ही नहीं है कि
अब
बेस ही नहीं है.
देखिए, आई एम सेटिस्फाइड विद योर आंसर आल्सो। जैसे अब दो तीन क्वेश्चन मेरे आपकी थीसिस के से रेलिवेंट जो हैं, जो डेफिनेटली विच इटसेल्फ बीन important also. How is your study significant to the different stakeholders? पहले तो आप
स्टेक
बताएं
होल्डर.
कि आपकी स्टडी के स्टेक होल्डर्स कौन कौन हैं, और ये उन
जी
तक कैसे पहुंचेगी, कैसे बेनिफिशियल है?
सर, स्टेक होल्डर्स जो हैं यहाँ पे हमारे इंडिविजुअल, जैसे जो वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, सर्वेंट्स हैं, पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स हैं, जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनके लिए भी बेनिफिशियल है. और गवर्नमेंट के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल है, रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज़ के लिए बहुत बेनिफिशियल है. एंड
How it will be reaching to the policy makers, and how it will be reaching to the government? स्टडी तो आपने करके अपनी थीसिस जो है, एक आपके पास है, एक गाइड के पास है, एक आपके
सर
यूनिवर्सिटी
जी
में
जी
है,
सर,
तो
मैम
ये
की
क्वेश्चन
गाइडेंस में ही सभी चीज़ें होंगी. और क्योंकि
नहीं,
बिकॉज शी इज द
कैसे
गाइड, द चीज
पहुंचेगी वहाँ, वहां तक कैसे पहुंचेंगी, कैसे पहुंचेंगी?
सर हम वी आर राइटिंग द पेपर्स ऑन दिस.
यस,
जैसे इब्राहिम मैम
यू
कह रही
हाउ
है,
सर
और वो उनकी गाइडेंस
एक एक पॉलिसी, हाँ सर, मैं आंसर दे देती हूँ सर. हम क्या करेंगे, इसका एक वाइट पेपर तो
जी
सर्कुलेशन
मैम।
भी करवाएंगे, कुछ पब्लिकेशंस और करेंगे. तो थोड़ा सा हम अपनी तरफ से एफर्ट लगाएंगे, क्योंकि स्टडी अच्छी है तो इसकी आउटपुट जो है वो मतलब आम पब्लिक तक पहुंचनी चाहिए. तो उसके
One,
लिए थोड़ा सा हम ये वर्कआउट कर लेंगे सर.
हाँ जी, take it in the book form also. I have recommended it for the book form also. आप
थैंक यू
इसको
सर.
बुक फॉर्म में
ठीक है
जरूर
सर.
लें। इसकी दोनों बुक्स, हार्ड बाउंड बुक्स भी, और
ठीक.
जो सॉफ्ट कॉपी में जो रहती है आपकी, ई बुक में भी इसको लें। और दूसरे, नंबर ऑफ पेपर्स कितने पब्लिश किए हैं मैडम ने, रजनी ने?
सर टोटल 7 पेपर इसी बुक पे हैं सर. टोटल
ओके,
7
बस
है.
आप इनको आप लेजिटिमेट एंड पे भेजें। इसका एक एब्स्ट्रैक्ट बना के पॉलिसी मेकर्स के पास, आरबीआई के पास, इसका एक जो शॉर्ट एब्स्ट्रैक्ट, उसको भी जरूर भेजें, ताकि इट कैन सर्व द पर्पस फॉर विच इट इज मेंट। अच्छा, अब मेरा आपसे दो एक क्वेश्चन भी रहेगा कि you have also used many tools, advanced tools in your study. Though those work was also possible to be done with the ordinary tools also. What was the rationale behind using all such advanced tools? जो इसके लिए जो काम आपका बहुत आसानी से सीधे सीधा हो सकता था, वो आपने इसको कॉम्प्लिकेट क्यों कर दिया बड़े एडवांस टूल्स लगा करके?
नहीं सर, एडवांस टूल्स तो नहीं है, टी टेस्ट है, नॉर्मल ही है, वो भी रिग्रेशन है, दैट इज टू अंडरस्टैंड द इम्पैक्ट। और क्योंकि हम अगर रिग्रेस नहीं करेंगे तो वी विल नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द जनरलाइजेशन ऑफ द थिंग्स।
अच्छा, अब
सो
मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू, if the same task has been given to you, what changes you want to make in your study?
सर, आई विल डेफिनेटली ऐड स्टूडेंट्स इनटू दिस, बिकॉज मुझे लगता है कि जो हम लर्निंग स्टेज जो होती है, जो इनिशियल स्टेजेस में जो हम लर्न करते हैं, वी कैन एबल टू इम्प्लीकेट दैट थिंग। बट जब हम द एज 50 टू 60 के बीच में हम बात कर रहे हैं फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी, दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू, मतलब वो अब उनके पास इतना स्कोप नहीं है कि वो अपने आप को मॉडिफाई कर सकें बिहेवियर को। सो मैंने ये स्टडी जब प्रपोज की थी तो मैंने स्टूडेंट्स के और एज ग्रुप जो था वो मेरा 18 से अबव 16 टू 30 के आसपास था, बट इट हैज़ बीन चेंज टू 20 टू 60। सो बिकॉज कहते हैं कि वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स को पता है कैसे कमाना है, तो दे विल एबल टू मैनेज द थिंग्स। बट आई थिंक अगर हम वॉरेन बफे सर की बात करें तो यू मस्ट बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट इन द एज ऑफ 11 ही हैज स्टार्टेड इन्वेस्टिंग, and at the age of 19 he has done all the experiments and he is now the one of the richest person and best teller to how to invest.
At the end, I would like to congratulate you,
Thank you
your
sir,
supervisor, Jasdeep ma'am,
thank you so
because
much.
this is one of the finest study I evaluated from
Thank you sir.
PTU. बहुत अच्छा काम था, and at the same time, I would like to just congratulate also the research degree cell ma'am का जो आपके यहाँ जुड़े हैं साथ में, और definitely the PTU and the entire PTU who are
Thank you
doing
sir.
wonderful job when we are just talking of research. I was sitting somewhere and when I mentioned there, I also mentioned, see the work of PTU. कई लोग PTU में ऐसा बोलते हैं कि बहुत नहीं होगा. Then when I told them that say the work of PTU is definitely very good. Rather, if I say excellent, then definitely it is also right to say also. I congratulate all of you. Rajni
Thank
ma'am,
you sir.
Jasdeep
Thank
ma'am,
Thank
you
you,
sir.
sir.
research
Jasdeep
Thank
degree
you.
ma'am, to
Thank
my
you,
cells,
sir.
sir, thank you so much
and
sir.
also entire PTU. Thank you.
Thank you sir. Thank you sir.
Thank you,
Thank you so
sir,
much.
for your valuable time and suggestions, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you sir. Thank you sir.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू। तो अब मैं इसमें अपने आप को कर लूं इसमें, मैं इनसे पूछना चाहूंगा, मेरे से तो कोई बातचीत तो नहीं अभी कोई रहेगी? शुड आई क्विट नाउ? अभी मुझे लगता है
सर
कि
रिसर्च में एक बार फोन करके बात कर लेती हूँ सर।
हाँ
सर मेरा हाँ जी, बस मैं ना सर एक फॉर्म आपको भेज दूंगी, वो साइन मेरे पहले मैंने साइन करने हैं, फिर आपके वो मैं स्कैन करके फिर आपको मेल कर दूंगी।
आप भेज दीजिए। आप रिसर्च डिग्री
हाँ
सेल
जी,
से भी आप जरा बात कर ले कि अगर उन्होंने तो नहीं कोई फॉर्मेलिटी करवानी है, अगर कुछ करना है तो मेरे को आपने मेल करवा देना। आई एम सिटिंग स्टिल ऑन द इसमें नेट के ऊपर बैठा हूँ। फिर उसके बाद
ठीक है
मेरे
सर।
को थोड़ी देर में मैंने निकल जाना है, तो मुझे टाइम नहीं लगेगा। ये कुछ अगर मान लो इनकी कोई और डॉक्यूमेंटेशन भी होगी उनकी, वो भी साथ में ही भेज देंगे। आपने रिसर्च
ठीक है
डिग्री
सर।
में बात कर जी। थैंक यू,
ठीक है,
थैंक यू,
ठीक है। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू जी।
थैंक यू।
जबरदस्त काम किया हमने पॉलिसी मेकिंग पेपर बनाओ। Thank you. Now I'm a PhD holder. अब मेरे नाम के पेपर मैम उसके अलावा कोई साइन वगैरह करवाना है आप मुझे बताइए सर के।